Hey, world. It's being willing to come back with another video. Uh, come back with a little information tonight. Um, see the title of the video. How do pensions go broke? Fam, I'm gonna wait up. If you're in the garden, if you have any questions, I'm gonna do a Q&A session. And if you have any questions, go ahead and leave me a comment. Leave me a question if you have any questions right now. Like I said, we're gonna be talking about a couple of things tonight, but if you have any questions right now, go ahead and let me know if you have any questions. What I'm talking about tonight will kind of trip you out, and it's gonna make a lot of sense. You know? How do pensions go broke? Social Security, how does Social Security Administration say that in by 2035 it may be insolvent? How does that happen? And so I want to kind of talk about that tonight. I'll be in the garden about 15, 20 minutes. And but if you have any questions, I would love to hear some of the questions out there. But like I said, tonight, I wanted to talk about the process and how if you don't really take a more active approach on your retirement, and remember, retirement is not wait till you get 50 or 60 or wait till you get in your late 40s. That is something that you want to be kind of cognitive of, like now, like as soon as you started working, because remember, you can get an IRA right now. And like I said, if you don't know what an IRA is, that's an individual retirement account, which a lot of different institutions offer those, okay? And so it's never too early to start that. But I wanted to talk about how pensions go broke and what are credit default swaps. And Ty World in the house. Thanks for joining me in the garden. Does this include VA disability, Jessica? You need to elaborate on that. Because actually, I would still take an active approach because I mean, if it's a pension plan, whether it's Virginia, whether it's Illinois, Kentucky, it doesn't matter what state, I would still take an active approach and find out what company or what financial institution is over that particular pension plan. And if it's a government pension plan, of course, those are safer than most, but I would still do your due diligence to find out. Okay, yeah, like I said, most municipalities, state, federal, most of those pensions, those are more protected than more corporate pensions. Okay, but if you think about California and the California Public Employees Pension Plan, with California going bankrupt like in 2016, they lost like millions and millions of dollars in that pension plan. And that was the state of California, Jessica. So, even though you would think that municipalities and cities and state and federal pensions are protected, even here in H-Town, the firefighters' pensions have been, tampered with. Okay. And so I would just make sure that doesn't be your primary retirement plan, because right now, when you have a situation with the government where you have a $1.5 trillion budget and $760 billion of that is going towards the military to improve or to, make more weapons. You got to ask yourself, the priority. You dig? And so if the government isn't really making Social Security, federal and pension plans, veteran pension plans a priority, I wouldn't rely too much on that. But I want to really talk about how that actually happens. And a lot of people that have pension plans that pay into 401ks, 403bs, all those different ones that you contribute to bi-weekly, weekly, or monthly. You want to kind of find out if something does happen, like it happened in 2008. How does that happen? How does that even transpire? And I'm kind of want to give you a kind of layman's term of what a credit default swap is, and that's what these pension companies are doing. Let's say, for instance, family. Actually, Social Security, if you've been paying attention to the news, Social Security, they've been talking about Social Security being insolvent by 2037. Okay, and you got to ask yourself, how is that possible if everyone is contributing to it? But what they're saying and what their logic is that, well, there's more people not contributing to Social Security than have, and so the pension actually is decreasing, right? Because more people, not putting into it, but the money that's in there should be making money based on investment, because that's what you normally do when you have a large sum of money. You invest it in different instruments to gain more money on that money. Why is that not happening? And why is also too, Social Security is being threatened when the Federal Reserve, all they have to do is go in and just purchase more Treasury bonds, which will build up that money. So that is kind of one of the things to make you say, okay. But if you say with teachers, like I'm a teacher, firefighters, police officers, a lot of these pension plans, family, are basically ran by private companies. And what do these companies do? In order to make more money, they invest in corporate bonds, right? So let's say, for example, you have a corporation that has a $50 billion bond or a $50 million bond. Maybe the monies that you contribute to your pension plan, maybe that pension plan may invest into that corporation and get that bond, right? In hopes of making more money on interest. But what if that corporation go bankrupt? Then your money in that pension is affected. And see, that's kind of how a lot of these pensions are threatened. And that has to be how the Social Security is threatened, because it doesn't make sense if it's money automatically going into these particular accounts, why it should be insolvent, and how they actually know that in future years, So that tells you that this low unemployment rate that they're speaking of, has to have some discrepancies in it, because if more people working, right, shouldn't be more people, contributing to Social Security. If you have low unemployment rate, that means more people are contributing to Social Security. So that alone has some things that you need to kind of question. And that's why I say you don't want to just depend on Social Security. Because think about the people that rely on Social Security right now. See how many people are actually taking into consideration inflation. Inflation is 2% every year. So 10, 15 years from now, you think the people that was 40 years old 20 years ago, now that they are receiving Social Security, that money isn't the same money they thought it would be. So you don't want to just depend on that. Some more tangible assets you may want to invest in is definitely real estate. Now, right now, everything is so overvalued, but it's such a conundrum because interest rates are so low. And with interest rates being so low, there are some great opportunities out there to, get a mortgage loan or get some real estate. But you got to understand that with interest rate being so low, eventually they're going to go up, because that's eventually going to happen. All right. So yes, there are some great opportunities out there for real estate because of the interest rates. But also understand that the prices and the property values in a lot of these particular areas are overvalued, just like the stock market is overvalued. All right. And so that's why you need to make sure that when you have a pension or you have any type of 401k or any type of 403b, anything like that that you contribute to every 2 weeks or every monthly, find out what it is and find out and make sure that your money is being contributed to a fund or to some type of security that's actually keeping up with inflation. If it's a variable, then rates are really, really low right now. Okay. So you want to check into that. All right. And the last thing, I kind of want to give you an example of what a credit default swap is. And it'll kind of trip you out how this kind of stuff can go on. All right. Let's say, for example, I want to borrow $100, right? Well, I have this person I want to borrow $100 from, right? Well, the person that gives me the $100, he's not comfortable that I'll pay him back. So what does he do? He talks to another person to insure that $100. And what does he do? He pays that other person maybe $20, right? And so in 2 weeks, when I'm supposed to pay the $100 back to the guy I borrowed it from, if I don't pay the $100 back to him, then he gets that $100 back from the person that insured it. And all he did was pay $20. You did? So, but let's say a lot of people did the same thing with that guy. Well, if he don't have the money, he can't pay everybody back. And that's a credit default swap. So it's so crazy because the person or these insurance companies that these pension companies are getting insurance for, they don't have to have the money there to actually insure that particular credit default, if that makes sense. Okay. So check into your pensions family and make sure that you are contributing to something that you know what it's going to. All right. And like I said, as far as real estate, make sure that properties that you're looking into, look at what the property was sold for 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and then find out what the highest value of that property was sold for. Then you'll know whether or not you'll see how much overvalued it is. So if I was you, I would pretty much kind of sit on the sidelines, pay yourself first, and then wait till this market crash because there's gonna be some great opportunities out there. All right. Well, family, I want to just kind of get out of here. It's like 12 minutes to 15 seconds. Make sure if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit the subscription button, hit the subscribe button, notification button, so I'm dropping another video. And make sure, and let's see, what else? Yeah, because I've been hearing that people haven't been getting notifications. So make sure you hit the notification button, all right? Well, in the meantime, between time, may the Most High always bring you joy and being what is out of 5,000. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Ty, for being in the garden and being with us out of 5,000.